What's up guys, in this video I'm going to be showing off the most valuable items in my collection. I'm going to be showing off the top 10 most valuable in terms of the total price that they're worth, and this is going to be things that I have a large quantity of. And everything I show in this video, these aren't meant to be rare items, right? I have some other rare items from Sun and Moon, XY, EX era that are pretty rare, but I maybe only have one or two quantity of. The items in this video are basically all the items that I've mass bought for investment purposes. And as you guys can see, right, what have I been preaching in all of my previous videos? Booster boxes, booster boxes, booster boxes. Booster boxes are the best Pokemon investment in my opinion, not only because of their future price potential and their growth potential, but also the collectability of booster boxes. And booster boxes are the most proven Pokemon investment, which is why my top 4 slots are all booster boxes. Now I'm going to go through each one of these one by one, and I'll tell you guys what I paid for them. I'll tell you guys my reasoning for buying the certain product, and I'll tell you guys my long-term potential price predictions for that product. So first and foremost, Destined Rivals booster boxes. Now these, you guys know how bullish I am on Destined Rivals. I'm not going to go too much into this, right? I have 27 of these booster boxes. I recently bought another one for $370, so that was my last purchase price. My first purchase of Destined Rivals was at about $230, I believe, for 4 cases of Destined Rivals. The set just keeps on going up in value. It is now over $2,380 in total set value. This Mewtwo keeps going up. It's now over $500, which is pretty crazy. Just a couple months ago, this was sitting at $350. This Garchomp is nearing $300. The Ethan's Ho-Oh is now well over $200. The Moltres is still at $146, and if this didn't get the UPC reprint, it would be well over $200 as well. And a lot of these cards are just continuing to go up. The Crobat is now over $100. The Psyduck keeps on going up. I can definitely see this Misty Psyduck being over $100 in the near future. This set is just so deep. It has the nostalgia factor in the Team Rocket Pokemon. You guys already know this is easily my #1 pick for investment purposes, and I already have a good position, and I will continue buying Destined Rivals when we get that reprint. Hopefully it comes relatively soon, because if this reprint doesn't come by Christmas time, I can definitely see the Destined Rivals booster box being well over $500 to $600 by Christmas. Long term, I think Destined Rivals is going to be one of the biggest winners of all of Scarlet and Violet. I can definitely see this being easily $2,000+ in less than 5 years, similar to something like Evolving Skies. Now, is this the better set than Evolving Skies? Probably not, but I do think that the Team Rocket theme will carry Destined Rivals a lot further than a lot of you guys think. Now, my second position is going to be my Lost Origin booster box position. Now, you guys already know Lost Origin was one of the first major Pokemon investments I made. I only bought 13 of them, and this was back in the TikTok shop days. If you know, you know. You could get these for $100 all day, every day. And I have 1 case, and I have 7 loose. And I really wish I bought more, because Lost Origin is turning out to be one of my best investments that I've made in the Pokemon space. It's sitting at $800 right now, and I think that this will continue going up, right? The cards in Lost Origin are really great. You of course have the Giratina. The Aerodactyl is really cool as well. And then you have the 2 Pikachus. You have a great trainer gallery in the Gengar and the Pikachu trainer gallery here. You have the Mew gold card. You have the Charizard, right? You have another gold Pikachu. You have a Snorlax. It's a really deep Pokemon set, and more importantly, it just has some of the top fan favorite Pokemon in this set, right? You have the Gengar, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 Pikachus, you have a Mew, you have a Charizard, you have a Snorlax, you have multiple Giratinas, and you have an Aerodactyl to top it off. Right, there's so many fan favorite Pokemon in Lost Origin. It has one of the best trainer galleries. It has one of the best chase cards in all of Sword and Shield. You can't go wrong with Lost Origin. And I honestly think if you didn't have a Lost Origin position already, I think $800 is still a steal for a Lost Origin booster box. As you guys can see, it is now tapering off, right? This is probably going to consolidate for the next couple of months. I would assume we might get a Christmas bump, so probably during the holidays you're going to see another rise in price of Lost Origin, but until then I believe we're going to see a cool down in a lot of these Sword and Shield era sets. So maybe for that $750 range you can find Lost Origin in the next couple of months. I would absolutely pick it up. The next set is also a Sword and Shield set, and this is going to be Chilling Reign, right? I have 8 of these booster boxes, and this is actually a relatively new position that I entered in, which is contrary to something like Lost Origin, which I bought these back in the day when they were cheap. Chilling Reign I actually bought recently when they're still kind of expensive, right? I bought them for about $430. Right now they're going for about $520, $530. So I've made a little bit of money, but this is more of a long-term play for me, right? I want to hold on to Chilling Reign for at least 5+ years. And that's honestly the same for all of these booster boxes, right? These are all 5+ year holds for me. I don't care if Destined Rivals is already a $2,000 booster box in 3 years. I'm still holding it even more because all of these sets I have very, very high conviction in. And Chilling Reign, I'll tell you guys why I have high conviction in Chilling Reign, right? First and foremost, let's look at the cards in Chilling Reign. You have Blaziken VMAX, right? This is one of the best VMAX alternate arts in my opinion. There's not that many VMAX alternate arts if you guys think about it, right? You have the Gengar VMAX alternate art, you have the Espeon, you have the ones from Evolving Skies, and then other than that, you really don't have too many, and then you just have Chilling Reign, because VMAX alternate arts only came out in, I believe, 4 sets: Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, and Fusion Strike, and I think they're a really unique concept. So this is a really great chase card for Chilling Reign. And then this Galarian Moltres, which I still think is extremely underrated. This was the top hit of Chilling Reign for a pretty long time when Chilling Reign first came out. Not only is Moltres a popular Pokemon, but I think the artwork alone on this card will carry it very, very far. You have the Gold Shiny Snorlax, right? This is a Snorlax card at the end of the day, a very popular Pokemon. And then you have some more legendary birds in the Articuno and the Zapdos, right? You have the Shadow Rider and the Ice Rider over here. 2 very, very good looking cards. Then you have the Zeraora, you have the Rapidash, and you have the Slowking. 3 very underrated alternate arts in my opinion. I think Chilling Reign, these cards as a whole are still very undervalued. They really haven't taken off at all yet, so getting into singles of Chilling Reign could actually be a good play right now. And one other thing is the design of the booster box, right? Chilling Reign is a blue booster box. When the booster box is sealed and closed, it is actually this light blue color, which looks really, really good. And a lot of people are going to want the trio in the future of Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, and Chilling Reign, right? Having that yellow, that pink, and that blue right next to each other, back to back to back. I think people are going to want that, and they're eventually going to need Chilling Reign to finish off the trio. The next booster box is going to be Surging Sparks. Now, Surging Sparks, I think, is a great, fantastic set. I got these for pre-order back in the day when they were $120 back in October of 2024, so I've done pretty well on these, and I think Surging Sparks is just getting started, guys. This set is going to age like fine wine. The Pikachu, of course, will do well, and then I think the Latias and the Milotic being those connecting cards that connect with the Latios and connect with the Phoebus. I think those are going to do well as well in the future. Next up, we have 151 booster bundles, and this was one of my more recent investments as well. I made multiple videos on this telling you guys that I am buying these at $60 a piece. So I bought a bunch. I only have 50. I wish I bought more. That's something I could say with every single one of these products, right? I wish I could have bought more. But for me, right, I'm not a huge investor, right? I'm not a whale. You guys might think I'm a whale, but I am absolutely not a whale. There's people with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in products, and I am just a small drop in the bucket. So my 151 position, I would say, is relatively small, and I wish I have more, but 151 is just such a good set, guys. The total set value now is 1,400, and it's continuing to go up. And more than anything, the nostalgia of the original 151 Pokemon is going to carry this set extremely far. I can even see a world where this surpasses Prismatic Evolutions, but I do think Prismatic will take the edge just in the sheer volume of the amount of chase cards that it has. But 151 has the nostalgia edge, right? It has the 3 starters all in alternate art form. It has Zapdos, Alakazam, it has a Pikachu, right? It has all of the evolutionary lines for the starters. It has a Psyduck, it has a Dragonair, it has basically every single popular 151 Pokemon. You really can't go wrong with 151, and the reason I chose booster bundles specifically is because booster bundles, I think, other than ETBs of course are going to be the best investment for these specialty sets, but 151 ETBs were already really high, so booster bundles were the natural second best option for me, and booster bundles, I believe, will hold a lot of value in the future, similar to something like booster boxes. And I realized I forgot to give my predictions for Lost Origin, Chilling Reign, and Surging Sparks booster boxes. I honestly think all 3 of these will be $2,000 plus in 5 years, and I actually think Lost Origin could be the most expensive out of all 4 of these booster boxes in 5 years, and probably be in a $3,000 to $4,000 range. The next item I have is going to be the Sea and Sky Premium Collection this is something I also recently picked up, guys. So I had, I think, 6 of these before. I got them for, I think, $80 a couple months ago. And then recently, actually this past weekend, I bought 8 more of the Sea and Sky boxes for, I think, about $160 each. So I might make a video on Crown Zenith in the near future because I think Crown Zenith is a very undervalued Sword and Shield set right now. And I honestly think that picking up Crown Zenith right now when it's still in that $12 to $14 price per pack range is a really, really good buy. So why did I pick the Sea and Sky Premium Collection? Well, it's for that same reason, right? The low pack per price. These for $160 is basically less than $12 a pack. And that's basically the same price per pack as 151 and as Paldean Fates. So tell yourself right now, in 2025, almost 2026, would you rather have Crown Zenith or 151 and Paldean Fates? I think I would rather have Crown Zenith, guys. Now, here's why. Let's take a look at the cards of Crown Zenith, and you're going to see just how undervalued this set is. It has 4 alternate art gold cards. These are the first of its kind and maybe the last of its kind as well. Super, super unique. It has the Mewtwo V-Star, which is absolutely skyrocketing in value. I could see this Mewtwo honestly being the top chase card of Crown Zenith. Then it has Leafeon, Darkrai, Glaceon, Deoxys, Suicune, Entei, Mew, Raikou, Pikachu, Deoxys again, right? So much depth, and all of these are very popular Pokemon, right? Some even fan favorites. I think this Pikachu is still very undervalued, only at $37, guys. And this is actually a textured card, if you guys didn't know. I didn't know that this Pikachu secret was textured until a couple days ago when I actually looked at the card in person. Then it keeps going, right? We have another Pikachu, we have a Lapras, we have a Zoroark, we have a Zacian. We keep going, right? There's so much depth in Crown Zenith. This set is absolutely insane, guys. This is the Cosmic Eclipse of the Sword and Shield era. I believe that Evolving Skies is the team up, and I believe Crown Zenith is the Cosmic Eclipse of Sword and Shield. So you're going to want some Crown Zenith in your collection for sure, and that's why this is the number 6 most valuable part of my collection. Next up, we have Prismatic Evolutions, and first is going to be these PC ETBs for Prismatic. I only have 6 of them. Like I said before, I wish I bought more, right? This was also one of the first videos I made on my channel. I told you guys to buy these at $200 a piece, and I listened to my advice, but I should have listened to it more because I only bought 6, and I was aiming for maybe 10 to 12. But then, you know, I got carried away with some other things like Destined Rivals, which I'm glad I bought, but part of me wishes I bought more of these PC ETBs. You guys already know how good Prismatic is, so I'm not going to go over the set in detail, but one thing I will point out is this Roaring Moon is doing numbers right now. This Shinji Kanda Roaring Moon, I honestly would not be surprised if this becomes the number 2 most valuable card in Prismatic. Another thing I'm going to point out in Prismatic is going to be the Master Ball Hollows. These are starting to make a move now. I think this Umbreon Master Ball is pretty undervalued still, and I can honestly see these Master Ball Hollows doing very well in the future and surprising a lot of people. And a lot of them are still very, very cheap, right? This Sylveon, only $31. And these are not easy pulls, guys. I think these Master Balls are, I think, 1 in 12, but just because of the sheer amount of Master Balls in the sets, it is very hard to pull a specific one. Something like the Groudon Master Ball at only less than $10. I just think a lot of these Master Balls are still very undervalued, and these just add so much depth to the sets. A lot of people don't like Prismatic because it doesn't have any illustration rares, but I think these Master Balls honestly are very unique and definitely make up a lot of the ground that is left by the lack of illustration rares. Now, PC ETBs are still relatively unproven in the investing space, but because this is Prismatic Evolutions and because this is turning out right now to be one of the most desirable ETBs, and we see what happened to the 151 PC ETB, it's now about $1,000. I would not be surprised if this hits $1,000 in the short term, right? So less than 2 years, maybe even less than a year. I can definitely see this hitting $1,000. And in the long run, right, I honestly have no idea. I could see this stagnating maybe in that $1,000 to $2,000 range for a while, or I could absolutely see this maybe even shoot up to $3,000 to $4,000. Now that is very, very high, and that might seem impossible right now, but who knows, right? PC ETBs are a very unproven space. Maybe the Pokemon Center stamp becomes something like a first edition stamp and people go crazy for it in the future. I have no idea, but it's definitely not a bad idea to have some of this in your collection. Next up is Paldean Fates booster bundles, and this once again was something I preached to you guys to keep buying at $60, and I basically bought these at the same time as 151 and I have 25 of these. I wish I bought more, of course, but I'm happy with the position that I currently have. Paldea Fates is a very good set. It is a pretty top heavy set, right? It's carried a lot by this Bubble Mew and the Charizard and the Gardevoir. But if you take a look at some of the other cards, right, you have some good trainers in the Iono, the Clive is good, the Penny's pretty good, and then you have some popular shiny Pokemon like the Pikachu, the Snorlax, the Mew, the Charmander, the Ditto. This is, in my opinion, a much refined version of Shining Fates, right? This is basically what Shining Fates was supposed to be. Not only are the baby shinies a lot better because it has actually popular Pokemon, but also I think the fact that it has these 3 alternate arts in shiny Pokemon form, I just think that is so valuable, and it's going to be very unique in the future. This is the first ever set with alternate art shiny Pokemon. The last 2 products are of sets I already covered, but these are going to be the Prismatic Evolutions regular ETB. I have 15 of them, and this is actually something that I am currently trying to pick up more of, right? Out of all these products right now, these are the ones that I think are the most undervalued. Currently, these are still going for less than $120, and if you can find it locally for less than $110, maybe even around that $100 range, I think it's a really great steal. And I believe Walmart's actually going to drop another restock of these regular Prismatic ETBs sometime in October, so definitely look out for that. We're going to see the market flooded with these once again, and I can honestly see these dropping back down to maybe the 110, maybe even $105 to $100 in the near future. So definitely, if these drop back down, I'm going to pick up a lot more of these. I want these regular ETBs to be in this top 5 position, guys. I want this to be more than this 151 booster bundle, maybe even more than the Searching Sparks booster box position. These are definitely going to be a good long-term play. And last but not least, I have some more Lost Origins sleeve booster packs, and this is a sealed case of them, so 144, and I got these at the same time I got the Lost Origin booster box. I think I only got this case of 144 for, I think, like $400, I want to say. This was back in November of 2023, so it's pretty crazy to think 2 years later this is worth basically over $2,000 now, so over a 5x. And I honestly think that this is going to be a good long-term hold, right? I think anything Sword and Shield, anything Lost Origin is a really good long-term hold. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is kind of a different video than what I usually make, but let me know, guys, what you think. Let me know what investments you're currently buying, and let me know what videos you want to see in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.